so Martin Corrie is now handed a huge responsibility. Can today's captain step out of Delalio's shadow and lead the Lions forward in a way his teammate would have been proud? The 2005 Lions Tour moves to the west of the North Island of New Zealand today, into the centre of the farming community, and the challenge that faces them is Taranaki, another top-quality First Division NPC side. It's to the Aero Stadium then, formerly Rugby Park, for the second match in the first midweek game. Taranaki, who just missed out on a provincial semi-final last year against a Lions side, hoping to build on Saturday's efforts in front of another full house. Well, the team bus left the hotel about an hour ago. 15 guys getting a first start on New Zealand soil and looking to further their claims for a test spot. A tough game today, big hard side Taranaki. They know they'll really need to perform to get a result in the heartland of New Zealand rugby. So the Lions have suffered their first major setback. Lawrence Delalio is out of the tour, and whilst it overshadowed an opening win, let's not forget that the team did achieve objective number one of victory. I'm joined again by former All Black captain Sean Fitzpatrick and former Lions Dowie Morris and Scott Quinnell. We'll talk to the guys shortly, but first we'll take you back to Rotorua last Saturday, where the 2005 Lions got the tour off to a winning start.
Arrived then at their first match in New Zealand for 12 years. For a Lion, this is the ultimate tour. The rugby heart beats at its strongest here. And the home of the All Blacks has been fully prepared to offer the biggest challenge. Along the line it goes, O'Gara's pass. There's O'Connell again. This is good hands. Inside to Delalio leading that charge. Peel in once more. O'Gara again switching the point of attack. Desperate tackle there from Senio, the scrum half. It's the Lions scrum half who wants it. It's Dwayne Peel again. It's O'Gara again. There's a little bit of space. It's Lucy. What a start! Good strength, and Shanklin's going forward now. Once more, there's a target for the Lions forwards to hit. Peel out to O'Gara, spinning one of those lovely long passes again. Henson's taken it. Williams gets it on. This is Lucy going for a second try.
Time out, Petty. We're coming upstairs.
That's a try. Bolafutu's in touch, but Lucy, his foot's not at the moment. No, the ball is down before that left elbow, surely.
Thank you. Time on.
And he gives a try. Lucy's got his second. Peel again. O'Gara's going crossfield with the kick, and it's going to end right in the basket of Mark Coato. And the Lions are making big statements here. Good handoff by Latu, and it's out to Colin Burke, who scored. So they are back into the match. Organisation is pretty good. They're also a man down, and they'll be tested out wide here as Burke's going for that corner again. I think Lucy just got his body in the way. Delalio is the man receiving treatment.
It's definitely an ankle injury, and you could see him go in there and it turning.
O'Gara might need a little bit of help on this side if they go short. Now they go wide, and they find Williams, and they score again. Peel gives it to O'Gara. Now it's Shanklin. Shanklin trying to get there as he scored. The Lions supporters will tell you. Corrie controls at the base. Swinging round now and told to use it. Peel goes through the gap. Dwayne Peel scores. O'Gara. Oh, that is a beautiful line from Lucy. Lucy's going, and it's Darcy to finish it off.
So an opening win for the Lions, but as I said, it was overshadowed by that injury to Lawrence Dallaglio. Yet more material for the New Zealand press to get their teeth into.
The Lions may have begun their tour with a victory over the Bay of Plenty on Saturday, but the New Zealand media were less than impressed with their performance. The tourists, however, had a lot more on their mind, with the injury to Lawrence Dallaglio. And after all the talk about the impact of his loss, it seems no one is more gutted than the Lions vice-captain.
Obviously, you know, very upset, devastated, because, you know, I'd made a lot of this trip. You know, I'm really looking forward to it. I was... you know, I'd geared everything up towards playing on this trip, and not only playing in the opening game, but also playing right the way through the tour. And you know, coming on a Lions tour is about playing in the Test matches, and that was something that I was very much looking forward to challenging for. And obviously that can't happen now. So I'm disappointed as much as anyone.
Did you realise immediately just how bad it was?
Yes, yeah. One, because I was in a lot of pain, and you know, that's not something which happens an awful lot on the rugby pitch. And secondly, I think my leg was facing the wrong way. So yeah, I knew straight away that I was out of the tour. And you know, it's disappointing because I've probably had two major injuries in my career, this being one of them and my knee being the other. And it just so happens that they both coincided with Lions tours. You know, in between all that, I've been very lucky and I've been very injury-free. So I can't really be too upset about things because, you know, by and large, my career in terms of injury has been okay.
Is there any way you can turn this negative into a positive?
Well, there is, because you know, whilst the last two Lions tours have been very disappointing, I think what I mustn't forget is that I've been lucky enough to be involved in a series win in South Africa with the British and Irish Lions. You know, a lot of players go through their career and never get to play for the Lions, so you know, I can't be too negative about it. Yes, it would have been lovely to have challenged for a Test spot. It would have been lovely to go on and try and win a Test series in New Zealand. It's obviously not meant to be. I'm obviously meant to be at home. And that's the way you've got to look at it. And I'm lucky enough to have experienced a winning Lions tour, and you know, I won't get the opportunity as a player to play in another one, which is unfortunate, but you know, hey ho, that's the way it goes.
Well, as one Wasp bowed out of the tour, another one arrived on Sunday, as Simon Shaw took the place of Mallow Kelly. And the Lions were up to full strength when Gareth Thomas and Jason Robinson arrived, as well as Dallaglio's replacement, Simon Easterby, who was determined not to just make up the numbers.
I'm devastated for Lawrence. You know, he was looking in really good nick, and you know, it's given me an opportunity now with his injury to come out here and relatively early on in the tour as well, and hopefully make an impression. You know, and I'm delighted to be here.
So the Lions must move on, and quickly. And as they prepare for the game against Taranaki, the departing Dallaglio thinks that this group of players has what it takes to deliver a series victory.
Certainly this tour started very, very well, and it has all the hallmarks of being a successful trip. I genuinely believe that, and that's probably why my frustration is probably you know, even stronger, because I genuinely felt that we have very positive chances of being successful here, and to win a Test series in New Zealand would be right up there amongst you know, the biggest prizes in the game. And you know, obviously I won't get that opportunity, but the squad still will, and I'll be very proud if the British and Irish Lions manage to you know, achieve what we wanted to do right from the outset.
So Dallaglio trying to stay positive, as he always does. He said that the Lions are equipped to win the series. Scott, in your opinion, without him, are they?
Well, they are, because you know, they've got quality players there, and he knows, he's been in the camp, he knows what they're trying to achieve. He's been to training sessions, he knows what the players and what their enthusiasm's like in the camp. But it's a huge blow. You know, he was there. As Simon said, he looked in great form. He looked up for it. You know, he retired from international rugby last year, and this was his sole focus. And you could see the way he started the game and the way he looked, that certainly was. But it's, you know, it's just bitterly disappointing for him again at the end of the week. You know, to know that he'll have to go home.
Strangely, could a setback of this magnitude, Dowie, galvanise the squad, do you think?
It can do. It has to. It's as simple as that. You know, he is a big blow, but no one's bigger than the team, mate. It doesn't really matter. If O'Driscoll got injured, you know, in the next couple of days, someone else would come in. And that gives you a little bit of spirit, a little bit of feeling within the camp that, right, we're really up against it now. Go out and play your rugby. But he is a big blow because of his experience there, his leadership, and he's a great guy to have around on and off the field. So, big blow, but you've got to move on.
Sean, your lot, New Zealand, well, New Zealand press have gone to town anyway. I mean, they've laid into the tourists on the back of that display. Do you feel they've jumped the gun?
Oh, I think so. I wouldn't get too carried away by that. What I think, you know, we're bitterly disappointed about Dalalio. You know, not just because of what he's done for the Lions, but it's robbed a character of the tour. And as New Zealand supporters, we wanted to see him playing. We wanted to see the best team out there. In terms of what the Lions have produced, I think we saw enough in that first 17 minutes to say, hey, they're up for it. And what the Lions need to do is keep that same intensity for 80 minutes. And that's the challenge, is to play with that same intensity. I think that's what Dalalio was saying. We've got the team, we just need to produce it for 80 minutes.
What were the major positives, specifically? Who and what, would you say?
Well, Lucy was outstanding on the day, scored 2 tries, you know, looked comfortable at full-back. O'Connell looked comfortable in the second row, took over as vice-captain on the day from Lawrence Dalalio, you know, and they went particularly well, especially in the second half when they had to. They knew what they had to do. They learned from the Argentinian game where they tried to keep on playing the same type of game. They put it in the corners and they ground down the Bay of Plenty side, which, you know, was a difficult start for them. In the end, it was a good result. You know, they come away from that. They go into Taranaki today looking for another positive to take out, looking at in a fortnight for the test matches.
Well, the team arrived a short while ago. Benchmarks were set, obviously, in various positions, 1 to 15 on Saturday. Is it up to these guys today to live up to them and go beyond them, raise the bar?
They have to. I mean, Will Greenwood, I mean, I've got to say, and a lot of people say, lucky to be on tour because of his form or whatever. He might admit it himself, but he's there because of experience. All of a sudden, Henson gets, you know, taken off by Eddie O'Sullivan. Darcy, who doesn't look as sharp, who's going to partner O'Driscoll? I mean, it's as simple as that. You know, Martin Corrie, again, there's a great battle going on there for...
Well, I was going to say that. So long in the shadow of Lawrence Dalalio. Scott, if I could ask you about that, I mean, perhaps looking for a new pack leader, do you see it as a direct competition for the 8th spot between Owen and Corrie?
Yeah, it is. You know, I think, you know, Taylor's got to come in there. He hasn't played yet. He's had a hamstring problem. So he'll figure in the next couple of weeks. But Lawrence went home 4 years ago. Martin Corrie came out, you know, he came out. He played in nearly every game. He came out, he got into the test side, and he was absolutely magnificent in that. Probably for the next couple of years after, that took his toll on him. But he's come back strong. He knows what it takes to go out there, play in test series. He'll be there. I think he'll be vital because he's captain today. Michael Owing was captain a couple of weeks ago. So there's competition for places and for authority, really, in that pack. But I think Martin Corrie's had a superb year, and I think he's got a big 5 weeks ahead of him.
Absolutely. Well, captaincy duties are rotated when Brian O'Driscoll doesn't play. And as we were saying, it's Martin Corrie's opportunity today. He's been talking to Alex Payne.
Martin, for most of tonight's squad, it's their first start in New Zealand. How eager are you guys to get out there and prove a point?
Yeah, hugely eager. It's a massive game. We all realise it's got to be a step up from Bay of Plenty, and for many guys, as you said, it's their first start, and it's what the tour's all about. You want to get underway with a game and a winning result.
The majority of tonight's pack had a pretty tough encounter with Argentina. What was learnt that night that'll serve you well today?
Yeah, I think the main thing was that we didn't really know each other well. Now we're 2 weeks down the track, and it's you know, we've become mates now, and we know the patterns we're supposed to be playing, and now it's just time for the little things like the emotion to come out in the performance, which probably was lacking against Argentina.
And from a personal point of view, firstly the England captaincy, and tonight you captain the Lions. I mean, just how proud a day is this for you?
Yeah, it's a huge honour. Yeah, one which hasn't really sunk in, and to be fair though, when you get the job, what you want to do is you want to be part of a winning side, and that's what we're most proud of. If I can be a winning captain come the end of the night.
Good luck tonight, Martin. Thanks for talking to us.
Well, Taranaki, as we were saying, one tough place to go and play your rugby. They lost one game at home in last year's NPC. Why is it such a difficult place to go and play?
Well, it's the heartland, the grassroots of New Zealand rugby. Really. Some very famous players have come out of the Taranaki, and they stick together. Paul Tito's a classic example. The captain tonight had the opportunity to play for the Maoris on Saturday against the Lions, but wanted to play for the Taranaki, and that says it all. Great players like Graham Murray have come from Taranaki. Dave Loveridge, the halfback, has come from there.
He wasn't bad, was he?
Paul Tito there. And there was a lovely piece in the Times on the weekend about Jazz Muller, who was a very famous player that played for the All Blacks from the Taranaki, who talks about sleeping in his jersey. And there was a great article about him mowing when he in the early 70s, just retired from the All Blacks, and there was a photo of him mowing his hedge with a lawnmower. But the great comment at the end was, it has to be a two-stroke, because obviously with a four-stroke, as we know,
Yeah, the carburettor.
But, that sort of, and they're very well organised.
Read them hard down there.
Very well organised, good forwards. Kieran Crowley's their coach. Yeah. But they like taking it to teams, and this will be a great test for the Lions, a step up from the Bay of Plenty where they actually moved it around a bit. But the Taranaki will try and take the forwards on and take them on. It's a great test.
Big and physical.
Yeah,
right, OK, let's get up to date with the very latest from the stadium then and join Stuart Barnes. He's pitchside in New Plymouth with Alex Payne. Good morning, gents.
Good morning, Simon. Well, if Saturday's game against the Bay of Plenty was all about laying foundations for this tour, then tonight's game is all about building on them. And Stuart, where do you feel most of the work will have been done in the last few days?
I think the Lions will have to work very hard at the breakdown, the point of contact there. They have to hit it with the right men and the right numbers to secure their own ball and to slow down opposition ball. If they don't do that, they're going to struggle against Taranaki tonight, let alone the All Blacks when we come to the Test series.
Now, Lawrence Dallaglio is obviously a huge loss to this tour, but Clive Woodward has picked two number 8s tonight in Michael Owen and Martin Corrie. Why do you think he's done that?
Well, I think this back row was picked before the tour party arrived here, and despite Dallaglio's absence and Corrie playing 60 minutes there, Woodward knew that he needed a leader in the Lawrence Dallaglio mould. Corrie, magnificent for the Lions as a number 6 in Australia, fits that bill, so it's a tough call for him to have to play twice in the space of 4 days, but he was designated to do so as captain. They'll need his leadership qualities tonight. That's why he plays.
Now, you've seen Taranaki train this week. What can we expect from them tonight?
Well, we always hear cliches about how big the Taranaki pack is. They're not that big, but collectively they're very well organised. They're fast, their line-out drills are excellent. They really have moved well, like one big giant swarming wasp. And if the Lions are a little bit lazy today, they could well be stung.
Things did seem to be coming together for the Lions in the second half against the Bay of Plenty, but which combinations tonight are you excited about seeing?
Really looking forward to seeing Chris Cussiter and Charlie Hodgson. Two young guys with a lovely service. Cussiter has a fast pass, and Hodgson, who spent all of his club career with a Scottish scrum half called Redpath, will relish that. Hodgson gets good quick ball. That missed pass he has, he'll be able to release the likes of Ollie Smith, Jordan Murphy and Dennis Hickey into space. And I think on a big wide ground like this, the Lions will really relish that.
Well, interestingly enough, 12 years ago, it was this man here who captained the Lions to a 49-25 victory over Taranaki. They will certainly take a repeat of that result tonight. Simon.
Looking very smug. Well, Taranaki is on the west coast of the North Island of New Zealand, about halfway between Wellington and Auckland, and there's quite a bit to keep the Lions fans occupied prior to the game. Great place to play rugby, Taranaki, as you were saying. Let's get into, we got into the positives of the Bay of Plenty performance with the Lions. What about the negatives? Where are they vulnerable, do you feel, and where do you think Taranaki will be looking to exploit?
I think the one area we all spoke about was the breakdown situation, and they had a few difficulty in terms of the penalties there. I don't think the laws are any different. It's just the numbers that, especially the Bay of Plenty, were throwing into the breakdown, which caused a few problems. Today is a great example, that opportunity for the Lions to throw more numbers in, because that is where the Taranaki will challenge them. They haven't got great backs, but they've got a pretty useful forward pack that will put pressure through the middle. Pick and goes through the middle, which the Bay of Plenty didn't do.
They put the big runners into O'Gara in that 10 channel. Do you think they will have targeted Charlie Hodgson as a defensive weakness?
I think New Zealand size challenge any 10 with a defensive weakness. And what I think was disappointing last week is the fact that they pushed out before they pushed up. Now, hopefully, they've worked on since then, pushing up and then out. Because if you don't break that gain line down, then they forwards, and these forwards, you know, they're strong runners. They'll come at you, and if you give them 10-yard start, it's very difficult then to defend, and especially if you're outside, your inside centre's pushing out, and your 10's not sure where he's going, and then that hole then opens up for you. So hopefully they can push up and out, and then it'll be a lot easier to defend.
Dowie, any other areas of concern, do you think?
Well, you mentioned Charlie Hodgson. It's a massive game for him, not mentally and physically, because Scott mentioned it, and Sean knows they will run at him. I mean, Ronan O'Gara, it doesn't matter what defensive qualities. He was vulnerable last week against the Bay of Plenty. You can't afford to do it. You cannot afford to do it in that 10 channel. So he's going to have to tackle his weight and beyond today. And also the mental side of it. His kicking sometimes go out of the game. It could be crucial today. You've got to get your slots of goal. O'Gara missed them last week. All right, they won the game. Crucial position, 10.
Well, it's Ian McGeechan who leads the coaching team for this evening's game. He did so against Argentina, and he'll be hoping for improvements. He's with Alex.
Ian, the first batch of players had their chance on Saturday. What's the mood like around tonight's squad?
Oh, very intense. I think they know really you become a Lion when you come to New Zealand, and this is what it's all about. And I think they've had 2 weeks together now. I think they've grown well together, and they're keen now just to get the game under their belts.
It is a midweek game. Should Lions fans see this as a midweek side?
No, I mean, all we've got is a series of games leading up to the first test, and they'll be mixed. And it's a Lions game, and that's it. You don't have a separation until we pick the first test team.
This is obviously your fourth tour, your first game in charge on this one. Is it just another Lions day for you, or do you still get that big buzz on match day?
No, absolutely unique. I think that's why I like being involved. I think the Lions just bring something different to everybody, and just to be part of it is always a privilege.
Good luck tonight, Ian. We hope it goes well.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
OK, one match down on the Lions tour, and Sean, Scott and Dowie are debating which players are in pole position for the first test in Christchurch. All three have to be in agreement for a name to be inked into their starting 15, and so far these are the players they believe to be front runners. In fact, not too many. If that test was tomorrow, you'd have Gethin Jenkins as your loose head and Paul O'Connell as the first choice lock. And so far in the backs, three names in pole. You all agree that Dwayne Peel will be your 9, Brian O'Driscoll obviously the 13, and on the strength of Josh Lucy's display versus the Bay of Plenty, you'd start with him at fullback. This, I suppose, focuses our thoughts on the players to keep an eye on today. Let's start with fullback. Jordan Murphy said he's very happy with the way Josh Lucy played because he likes to rise to the challenge. Do you think he's got his work cut out now?
On that performance, yes, but he's got a great stage to prove it to today, or tonight, obviously, in New Zealand. He's a class player. What Lucy has got, obviously, is the bulk and the physique and the pace, whereas Murphy is, well, he's once called by Dean Richards the George Best of rugby. He has got twinkly toes, he can do anything, and of course he can play on the wing situation. So all that is good for Murphy, but I would say Lucy is there. But again, he's a great player.
Of course he can. And they can play anywhere. And they can play wingers. And of course, now Gareth Thomas, now Jason Robertson has landed in the country. I think that extra pressure will be added as well. So it's magnificent. The great thing is that we're able to talk about this because we've got a quality and depth there. You know, it'd be disappointing if we only had one guy there. We could, if we couldn't talk about it, then we would be in trouble.
OK, what about up front? You've got Paul O'Connell inked in as your #1 lock. You've today Danny Grucock and Donica O'Callaghan competing. Perhaps do you think you need a second physical lock to play against the All Blacks?
Well, I think you do. I think in terms of the players we've picked, and I don't agree with Clive in terms of it doesn't matter what number is on your back. And I think today will be a classic example. As forwards have to be in there doing the hard work, and the backs are out there. And the players that we've picked are players that are going to do that. And Gethin Jenkins, he's a loose head, or play on the tight head. You know, and that's the sort of players we
Seven of this
want.
pack that are playing today actually played against Argentina. They need to step up because they had a tough time there, especially at set piece. So hopefully today they'll rise to the challenge.
OK, the squad hoping to make it 2 out of 2 with a win today, and a first run out for many on New Zealand soil. A proud moment for them and the realisation of exactly what it means to be selected for a Lions tour.
Many people tell you you're a cert, and even perhaps you get a phone call off the coach or somebody involved with the Lions selection party. But until that letter actually comes through to your home to say you've been selected, it's incredible. The wait is fantastically nervous. But when you get it then and you know you're going on one of the great tours of your life, really, because you may have been a Welsh tourist, but to be a British Lion is something unique.
From what I can remember, it was just that the letter appeared on the doorstep, and it was just a feeling of absolute elation.
I remember the missus reading letters out saying, oh, I've got nothing for the Lions, but she was lying really, she had, and it was just a big lump in your throat, really, just being like selected to play for your country and gaining your first cap. It's quite emotional and it's quite special.
I was a bit mischievous because I hid Will Greenwood's letter. Both our letters arrived on the doormat the same morning.
I must have been training or perhaps sleeping in, harking back to my university days that morning.
When he got up for breakfast, I said, oh, I've had my letter, mate, sorry.
And he goes, oh, by the way, this came for you. That was about 2 hours later.
That really was one of the highlights of the tour.
We've had a few fights in our time, and there was very nearly another monster rock, but I was so pleased to have got the letter by hook or by crook that I didn't actually care at the time. It was only sort of hours and days later that I suddenly realised that that was actually quite a nasty thing to do. But then it is Austin.
I remember pulling up in the car, and somebody had told me at about 12 noon the sports news would come out, I can't remember which station, and then it would announce the team. And then your name came out. Oh, the feeling, the euphoria. I'm a Lion.
So, match number 2 on the Lions tour. The fans out in force again today. 22,000 in New Plymouth. The Yarrow Stadium will be full. The atmosphere once more electric. Kick-off is next. It's another big test for Sir Clive Woodward's squad. In last year's NPC, Taranaki beat Bay of Plenty 58-14 on this ground. They're another team more than capable of upsetting the Lions. Match commentary in New Plymouth comes once again from Stuart Barnes and Miles Harrison.
Good morning to you. Well done for putting your day plans on hold. I think it's going to be worth it, as it was on Saturday night in the Bay of Plenty. Taranaki's turn to have their day in the rugby sun, Stuart.
Also the Lions too. 7 of this pack played against Argentina, but Clive Woodward has said the tour starts when you're a terra firma on New Zealand. This is the day that Lions team really want to start.